Class, now that you've drawn the atoms and labeled the parts to the nucleus, the protons and the neutrons, and then what are the things going around on the outside called?
Electrons.
Electrons, very good. Got those labeled, put them into your notebook, and get you another piece of paper. We're going to learn the language of chemistry. Let me ask you something. I keep getting text messages and I see things like this: LOL, BFF. I have no idea what that is. What is that? Is it telling me to do something?
LOL is laugh out loud.
Laugh out loud, yeah.
Are you telling me that LOL stands for laugh out loud?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's a lot easier than writing it down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, what that is a type of abbreviation. And in chemistry, we do the same thing. This is a really big word, a combination of words. Dihydrogen monoxide. How would you like to have to, every time you wrote a chemical formula that you had to spell all the words out? It would wear you out. And so we came up with, scientists have come up with a system so that the elements can be named very quickly with a symbol. And usually it's just the first letter of the name of the element. For example, hydrogen. It's simply H. We're going by the first letter. So the first for carbon, obviously, is going to be what?
C.
C.
N.
Nitrogen? Good. And by the way, notice that all these are capitalized. And then we need this, all this is in our atmosphere, this is in our atmosphere, but we really need this one. So what's it you think the symbol for oxygen is?
O.
O. You ever heard of O2? The hospital, they say, put him on O2. And that means that he needs to be on oxygen. So these are the easy ones. Now, because of some of the letters are repeated, I'll give you an example. Helium. We can't use helium, we can't use H for helium. Not by itself. Why is that? Why can't I put an H right here?
That's hydrogen.
Because H stands for hydrogen. And so what we do is we take the first and second letter. The first, and sometimes, occasionally, the first and third letter. I'll give you an example of that in a minute. And so, He is helium. Neon lights, the colorful lights you see in the store windows. It's a gas, and when you run electricity through it, it lights up. What would it be?
Ne.
Ne.
Ne. That's right. Now, the second letter is not capitalized. Calcium, can't use C because there's carbon. So what do you think we should do?
Ca.
Good. Johnny, pick up and add some too. I know you know some of this stuff. Cobalt.
Co.
Good. Now, you just kind of have to memorize the ones that are single letters and the ones that are double letters. But the real tricky ones are the ones that are based in Latin. The word copper in Latin is cuprum. And I don't expect you to learn the actual language of Latin. So what I've done is I'm going to teach you a way to help you memorize the shortcut, or the easy way to remember copper.
What is it, the symbol?
The symbol is Cu. And what we're doing is we're using the first two letters of this Latin word. But you don't know this Latin word probably. And so how can I remember Cu stands for copper? Well, I have a little saying. Don't let the cop see you. See it? Don't let the cop see you. That helps you remember that anytime you see Cu, that we're talking about copper. Iron. Iron comes from a Latin word ferrum, F-E-R-R-U-M. And this again is another Latin word that most of you probably don't know. And instead of having to learn the language, let's learn the little trick that'll help you. Iron's heavy. It's one of the heaviest elements. And so you wouldn't want to drop the iron on your feet. And so we use Fe for iron. Fe and iron, there's no link. Well, you remember this. Don't drop the iron on your feet. And you use the first two letters of feet. And there you have your symbol. Now, sodium. Everybody eats sodium. It's in your diet. It's in the ocean. If they tell you to be on a low sodium diet, what are they really asking you to do, Johnny?
Salt.
To take more salt or take less?
Less salt.
Good. And so, what we're going to do is this phrase here. We're going to use the phrase nature's salt. Now, we use Na. And we just have to remember nature's salt, sodium is Na. There's no connection between sodium and Na. Unless you remember that sodium is what makes salt. And salt is, sodium is nature's salt. And then this is my favorite one. You know, gold's pretty heavy too, and it's very, very valuable. And if somebody were to take your gold bracelet or something, you'd be upset. And so, the symbol for gold is A-U. And here's, I'm not even going to go into the Latin on that. Here's the way to remember it. A-U, give me back my gold. Kind of cute. A-U, give me back my gold. So these are the tricky ones. Copper, Cu, don't let the copper see you. Don't drop the iron on your feet, Fe. Nature's salt is sodium. And gold is Au. Now there's other less common elements that they use in labs and things that we don't have here. But the elements that we're going to be using are going to be ones like this. You need to be familiar with them. You need to be ready to tell me what, if I just wrote up hydrogen, could you give me an H? Or if I put an O down, would you know that it was oxygen? You need to know it forward and backwards. Yes, ma'am.
What's at the top of the board? The D.
Okay. I told you this was a really, really large word, right? And we said by using our symbols, we can modify and make things shorter, right? Well, what is the symbol for hydrogen?
H.
All right. This di in front of it, di means two. So we're going to say H, capital H, put a 2 there indicating that there's 2 hydrogen. And then monoxide. This is a reference to oxygen. And so we use the O for oxygen, and there's only one of them. It's monoxide, there's only one. So I don't really need to put a 1 here. The fact that that O is there tells me that there's 1 oxygen. If there were 2, by the way, if you were to have a formula like this, H2O2, that wouldn't be water anymore, it'd be hydrogen peroxide. And the elements that you're going to learn about bonding soon, how they bond together ionically and covalently. But let me tell you, if you don't get the language of science and the language of chemistry down early, you're going to be lost later in the year. So let's learn this stuff, and I'll give you a little time to study that. Thank you very much.